Good morning. It is, I can't remember what day it is. Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday I think. Anyway, it's 11:30 Eastern Time, that's what counts, and that means it is time for episode 31 of First Chapter Fun. Good morning. I am on Instagram Live, I am on Facebook Live at the same time, and this is the place, in case you've missed it up until now, where every day until the beginning of May I read the first chapter of a different book at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Good morning. So we have Sharon, we have Michelle, we have Jennifer, we have Amanda, we have Carla on Facebook. Lots and lots of people joining. Good morning. Hi Ali. How is everyone? Hi Hank. My morning has been a bit of a mess, frankly. I was in a bit of a tiz earlier because too many things going on. Buzzing around, as my parents would say, like a blue-ass fly. And I just sat down and thought, oh, I get half an hour of just calm and reading and chatting with you all. So that's lovely. Good morning, Carmen. Good morning, Glennie. All the way from San Diego. I know that because she often says that it's either sunny there, which is lovely, or rainy. It's a bit chilly here today. I was going to go out for a walk later, but I might chicken out. So, as you're all joining, we have Penni Jones, who has just arrived, and Michelle as well. Good morning. And I am reading from Penni's book today. So this is her book, On the Bricks. And I'm going to introduce you to this and tell you a little bit about Penni. So Penni Jones, got to put my glasses on because I can't see. Penni Jones is a writer, a movie buff, a concert t-shirt enthusiast. We demand to see the collection, I think, Penni. We need to see this. She is a reluctant multitasker and blogger extraordinaire of scapegoats and sacred cows, which you will find at scapegoatsandsacredcows.com. Penni started writing stories as soon as she learned how to hold a pencil. She's an Arkansas native who currently resides in Michigan and spends all winter complaining. That's what my husband says I do here about the weather. Penni is the author of 2 novels. Her debut, On the Bricks, is a just-out-of-prison story that's been hailed gritty with fantastic characters, and it published in 2017. Her second book, a dystopian tale called KRICKET, and features a kick-ass female bootlegger, and that book followed a year later, so in 2018. Her third novel, Suicide Souls, will be released this summer. And she says she has around 5 other manuscripts in various stages of completion because her muse has ADD and won't allow her to work on one thing at a time. Penni is a member of the Editorial Freelancers Association, the Association of Writers and Writing Programs, and a founding member of Michigan Sisters in Crime. And this is the book, On the Bricks, that I will be reading from momentarily. Now, as always, I'm going to take those off or you're all blurry. As always, I will save this to my Instagram story, hopefully to the feed if it's, if I don't babble too long and it's under 15 minutes. If not, you'll find it on my Instagram story and also on my Facebook author page, where you can leave comments and ask Penni questions. Ask her about her writing process. Ask her about her t-shirt collection. We need to know more details. Ask her about her upcoming novel. Ask her whatever you like so that she can come back and answer these questions throughout the day and beyond. So, without further ado, I always say that, it's getting boring. Without any more babbling, I'm going to read you the description of On the Bricks by Penni Jones. Cass Blankenship was just released after spending 10 years in prison for a murder she didn't commit. All she wants to do now is head for sunny California, a place where nobody knows she was convicted of killing her ex-boyfriend's ex-wife. But the terms of her parole have her released to live in her sister's halfway house back in Arkansas, where she's bunking with speed freaks and hookers. Cass can get her parole transferred if she stays out of trouble, but trouble is all she seems to find. She can't even go to the grocery store without running into someone who thinks she should still be in prison. It feels like her only choice is to enlist help from her hesitant but desperate parole officer to find the real killer and clear her name for good. But first, she has to find her sister, who's probably taken off to do meth, then try to save Blankenship House from foreclosure and help a teenaged felon deliver a baby, all while avoiding her ex and his wrangler Snake. And if her plan goes south, she'll be back in the can by Labour Day. That was the description of On the Bricks, and I tell you, Penny has a wicked sense of humour. Here we go, there's the cover. And she has a wicked sense of humour. I know this because we've met and we're friends, but also because the dedication in this book is 4 words, and it says, "Sorry, Mum, you tried," which made me just burst out laughing. That is so funny. So let me now read you chapter 1 of this excellent novel. On the Bricks by Penni Jones, chapter 1. Every foolish decision I've ever made had a man at its juicy centre. If men weren't in my life, I'd be a successful lawyer or actress, living in some big city high-rise and driving a fancy car. Instead, I'm in the pen, on my way to my 3rd parole hearing. Maybe this one's the winner. It's just so damn hard to convincingly say I've learned my lesson when I'm innocent. Maybe I wouldn't be a successful actress after all. My name is Cass. It's not Cassandra, not Cassidy, just Cass. Like my mum forgot she was in the middle of something and just stopped naming me. I don't even have a middle name. The worst part is that my sister is named Evangeline Ann. I used to think my parents gave her all the names and ran out before they got to me. We all call her Vangie Ann. Evangeline isn't a fitting name for a meth head. No, excuse me, a former meth head. Sometimes I forget Wayne Talbot's the one who put me here, and I catch myself daydreaming about him, mostly about his body. Dicks are scarce in the women's prison, and Wayne had a nice one. I assume he still does. Long and perhaps a little too thin, but always as eager and obedient as a golden retriever. When the memories start, I can't help but touch myself. And then I feel as foolish as if I had slept with that loser again. My cellmate will take care of things for me when I let her. I can't let her if Wayne is on my mind, though. That wouldn't be fair. Tabitha with her cornrows and thick waist is just not the same as a man for me. She tries, though, and I can't say that she's not one of the best friends I've ever had. Tabitha strokes my mousy brown hair when I cry, tells me that she loves me when nobody sends me letters. She's told me about her mamma's yard, complete with a massive weeping willow tree, so many times it started showing up in my own childhood memories. It's hard to believe sometimes that Tabitha stabbed her husband with a stainless steel grilling fork. He used to beat her up pretty bad. The public defender said he could have gotten her off if she'd stopped after 2 or 3 stabs. The jury found 41 to be a bit excessive and perhaps a sign of a violent personality. I suppose none of them had ever been hospitalised by someone who had vowed to love and cherish them forever. Cass Blankenship. The guard sounds bored, and she has her thick thumbs stuck through her belt loops. She lets out a giant sigh when I stand up from the bench. Maybe she expected me to do something more entertaining. She opens the door and I nod instead of saying thank you. I walk into the large room with the wooden walls and floor and sit down on the folding metal chair. All the wood makes me feel like I'm sitting in a giant coffin, facing a table of 5 people in fancy suits. I rub my moist palms on my murky grey scrubs. I try to channel the Cass that existed 10 years ago when I was an elementary school teacher and not a convict. "Thank you for joining us, Miss Blankenship," the warden says, as if I would decline a chance, no matter how remote, to get out of this shithole. "Thank you," I say, because "you're welcome" seems smug. The fluorescent overhead lights reflect off his bald head as he opens my file. "You've served 10 years of a 20-year sentence for second-degree murder. Your actions led to the death of..." He stops to flip a page. I could tell him the name and date, but that would be inappropriate. "Miss Judith Talbot, on January 10th, 2001. Can you tell me how things have changed for you since then?" I sigh and gather my thoughts one last time. I've given a speech in response to this question 2 other times, but I didn't say the right thing and the parole board sent me back to my cell. I'm trying another route this time. If it doesn't work, my words will be different next year. All 5 of them are staring at me, judging me even though no words have spilled out of my mouth. Old, white people. All of them. I'm white too, don't get me wrong. I'm just a different brand of white. The kind of white who's done time and messed around with her black cellmate. I'm not the same race to these people. If I could go back in time, that day would be different. I wish I could change things. I wish I was still teaching 2nd grade, still living in my little apartment and had never even met Judith Talbot. What I did to her was terrible, and I can't take it back, but I sure wish I could. I wish I could erase the pain I caused her children and her parents, and I wish more than anything that Judith Talbot was still alive. I had to cross my fingers in my lap the entire time to say all the lies. I told the truth the previous 2 years, declared my innocence, and they sent me back for my lack of remorse. Truthfully, I don't even wish Judith Talbot was alive. She was a miserable bitch. Of course, if she was alive, I wouldn't be here. "Miss Blankenship, if you are released, where will you go?" a woman with grey hair and giant glasses asks me. She looks at me like she thinks I'll answer, "A crack house." My sister Evangeline runs a transitional home for abused and displaced women. She always needs help there. She can't pay me much, but she'll provide me with room and board. I don't mention that Vangie Ann is in recovery for drug abuse. If they want the details, they'll find them out. My friend Jessie just got paroled a month ago. She promised me a job at her aunt's boutique in Southern California, in a town called Camarillo. I've only ever lived in Arkansas, but in California, I'll get to help people get dressed for a living. It's my shot to start over. But I don't mention that either. I figure I'm more likely to get released to my sister's halfway house than to another ex-con in a different state. Plus, I have an inheritance waiting for me at home, if I can get it out of the hands of my stingy stepmother. I'll apply for probation transfer once I get settled. "Where is the home located?" a man in a bow tie asks. It's red with blue dots. Why is he wearing a bow tie? Does he want to look like a present? "In West Plains." "How far is that from Pleasant Fields?" Mr. Bowtie asks. I hope this is a good sign. He's really interested in my plans. "About half an hour? I won't have any reason to go there whatsoever." "That's true. I don't want to go there. Don't want to run into Wayne and his Wrangler snake. At this point, I'd be tempted to screw him until he's unconscious and then cover his face with a pillow." "If we grant you parole, you'd be required to stay away from Pleasant Fields for at least 2 more years, Big Glasses Lady says. "Those frames are huge. They take up half her face. How does she not know that the amount of glass far exceeds the size of her eyeballs?" Then I realised this might actually be happening. She said, "if." "Your behaviour the past 10 years has been exemplary, and it sounds like you've learned from your mistake," another man says. This one has on a brown suit and has thinning blonde hair. I'm afraid to respond, so I don't. They ask me to leave the room for a few minutes. I walk back out to my bench. The guard has her arms crossed, and she's staring at me like I'm about to make a run for it. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't, because my legs are almost numb from excitement. I might be getting out. I look down at my fingernails, which haven't been manicured in a decade. I used to get French manicures. My nails were always chipped and ugly by the time I made it back to the salon for maintenance. I should have taken better care of them, but I had no idea how luxurious it was to have pretty fingernails. My hair was beautiful back then, before I got arrested. One of my best features. Not now, it's limp and mousy. I'm in need of a dye job and conditioning treatment. Not sure how I'll pay for that. I didn't make much as a teacher, but I didn't have any debt. All I had to pay for was my apartment. My old car was long since paid off, and so were my student loans. All my money went toward what I wanted: clothes, hair, nails, skincare, shoes, and of course, having fun. Narcissism is extremely satisfying. Anyone who says it's not doesn't know how to do it right. But I'm older and wiser now, with coffee as my only vice. I'm certain I'll make smarter choices now. I don't know how long I sit on that green metal bench. Long enough for my arse to get sore and to count 100 ceiling tiles, but I'm not sure how long that is in minutes. Miss Blankenship, they're ready for you, the guard says, and opens the door again. I take a deep breath and stand up. I feel woozy. I wish someone could get the answer for me and come and tell me. If I throw up, will they change their minds one way or another? My feet shuffle into the room and my body follows. I feel like I might lose bowel control, but fortunately I don't. The warden motions for me to sit down. Miss Blankenship, you've been granted parole. He rattles off a lot more words, the rules and restrictions I'll have to follow to stay out of jail, but I can't hear him over the loud humming in my brain. It's like the noise that remains in your ears the day after a rock concert. I'm sure I'll get this information in writing because it's certainly important. I realise they're all silent, waiting for me to speak. Thank you, I say. I'd like to say more, but I don't want to say anything that'll sabotage my release. You're welcome, Big Glasses says. I stand up and the guard leads me back to my cell, back to Tabitha. She's waiting for me, looking both hopeful and sad. Either way, there will be tears. That's the thing about prison. She wants me to stay, wants me to leave. Well, she asks. I nod at her and tears stream down my face. She envelopes me in her arms and smothers me a little with those boobs, heavy and pendulous. Maybe I would have been more into her if she didn't have those. I was never quite sure what I should do with them, and they're impossible to ignore. I promise I'll write and visit. I mean it, I really do. Letters are the only things that make life bearable in this place sometimes. Little reminders that people still remember that you exist, that you ever existed outside of these cinder block walls. Tabitha presses her lips to mine and says, I love you, Cass. I love you too, Tabitha. Thanks for being my friend. I rub her cornrows with my open palm and inhale her scent, trying to commit it to my memory forever. She won't be getting out of here before we're old, and we both know it. That was chapter 1 of On the Bricks by Penni Jones. I hope you enjoyed that. I laughed out loud as I was reading it. It's very, very funny. So this is available now. Of course, I will post all of the links as always. Go and check it out. Go and check out her other book, KRICKET. And Penny, I hope if you're still watching that was okay. It is exceedingly nerve-wracking to read for other authors. It really is, because you know they're their words and they have you just know, or as an author you know how you would like them to be read, and I just hope that I do them justice, because I wouldn't want to not do so. So tomorrow, I don't need my glasses anymore. Tomorrow I have something special for you. I have the first middle grade book that I will be reading, which is called The Lost Scroll of the Physician. So this is tomorrow's book. It's middle grade. So if you have kids at home, this is by Alicia Sevigny, and she said it's a little bit upper middle grade, so say 10 to 14 or so. So if you have kids at home, rope them into this, get them to sit with you, or with their devices anyway, if they don't want to sit with you, and get them to listen in, because it's the first middle grade book that I'll be reading, and actually the only one in this series, so it will be fun to have them join. So that is tomorrow's book, and this concludes today's episode of First Chapter Fun, which I hope you enjoyed. I'll be here again tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern Time on Instagram and on Facebook Live. And I hope you'll join me then. So until then, as always, please stay safe, stay kind, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.